What is going on, everybody? It is Max with BuzzTox and Trevor. And some breaking news. We're not dead.
Yeah, they didn't shut us down.
I'm so sorry, guys. How long has it been? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
Could have been even a month.
Yeah, we don't know because we've been so goddamn busy in our personal lives. We have been keeping content away from you Throners. I just referred to you guys as Throners. I'm sorry. but
Like,
you guys are throbbing Throners. But just really quick, let me get a couple announcements out of the way. So, me and Trev want to produce a lot of Game of Thrones content from now on, moving forward. Okay, we want to do Game of Thrones reviews from previous seasons. We want to rewatch from season 1 all the way through to season 5. We want to be doing top 10s. We want to be doing predictions for you guys. And hopefully, from today, we can be giving you at least one, hopefully 2 Game of Thrones videos a week. I'm going to be doing a Comic-Con video, hopefully, if the Game of Thrones panel is good. But we'll see what happens. But this video, we're actually going to be talking about Episode 10 and everything about Episode 10. 3 weeks late, and I'm pretty sure everyone has said what has to be said, but we're going to give you our take.
Yes.
Because we have nothing else to talk about. Anyways, do you have anything to add, Trev?
I was going to say, you probably watch a lot of different Game of Thrones things. I don't watch any, so if I overlap other people, I literally have not watched any other Game of Thrones stuff.
You know what's funny? I was actually frustrated because in our reaction video, we made some really great points, and I feel like people were naturally making those points. Like, we thought that Jon was the secret Targaryen who was meant to rule, and he wanted Daenerys to conquer, right? And he would take the place for the secret Targaryen in the books. We thought we were king shits for coming up with that, but apparently it's been around forever. So we'll see what we can come up with today.
So we're grandpa podcast Game of Thrones. That's what we stumble upon things.
Yeah, we're grandpas with big giant throners.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's go over to King's Landing. And this whole season, or this episode, by the way, it's going to take a while for me to get back into the podcasting ways. I'm having trouble finding words. Anyways, so the music was fantastic, and we start off with a montage with piano, which I've never really. There hasn't been a piano score in Thrones at all.
No.
And I thought it was amazing. It was like a montage of everybody just kind of getting ready for work. We see Loras come into the trial. He confesses all of his sins. He bans the Tyrell name. He dedicates his life to the faith, which I guess kind of shows either he's a wimp or they really beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, obviously, after this episode, it will sort of remain as a secret as to what happened to him. But yeah, I think they were a lot harder on him than a lot of people.
I know,
like especially bad.
Yeah, so then the High Sparrow gives him a little nod, and they mutilate him. They like cut open his like forehead. They give him the 7 symbol.
They Inglorious bastard him.
Yeah, and it was like one last deed from the High Sparrow because apparently he promised he gave Marjorie his word that no harm would come to Loras, which I guess he didn't consider the mark harm.
Yeah.
But then the Mountain stops Tommen from going to trial, and then you kind of at this point you're kind of like, okay, maybe it seems like Cersei's up to something. And Lancel follows a child into the dungeons. I thought it was fine. There's some people who think that, him following some random child is kind of weird. Like, why would he do that? Do you have any thoughts about that?
He saw him running down the steps, did he not? Like, that would be weird.
Yeah, like a kid who doesn't belong there. Yeah,
when there's nobody else on the streets.
Yeah, there's nobody else on the street. Obviously, why is this kid on the sept stairs? So naturally, he would follow him.
Like, what are you doing here? Kind of.
And it's during a trial, and the streets are clear. So I think there's a reason why. Like during a faith, you can't be out on the streets. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like you wouldn't. That would be weird. It would just be out of place, and his instincts were correct to follow him because he knew something was up. He was a Kingsguard, was he not?
Who?
Lancel.
No.
Not at all.
Lancel was no.
Oh, he was like a page, right?
Yeah, he was Robert Baratheon's bitch, and then he just became.
But now he's like high security for the Sparrow, so he knows shit. Like he knows when things are good.
Yeah,
or
he's
bad.
kind of like his right hand man, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we see more of Cersei's plan. Qyburn the kids lure in Pycelle to Qyburn. They kill Pycelle. I love the scene.
Oh, this is what starts the Walter White assassination.
I know, that's
montage.
what I loved about it.
Yeah.
I know. Like, it was her just sitting back, and every intricate part of her plan was falling into place.
I think I called this. As memory serves, I think I called this.
I think you did. It was like a Breaking Bad thing, yeah.
Yeah. Like, she would just be sitting there waiting for everybody to die.
And you also said, I said that everyone in King's Landing of importance was going to die except for Marjorie. You said everybody, so kudos to you on that. But, so then also Lancel's in the dungeons. He gets stabbed, all that fun stuff. We see the wildfire and the candles, and Lancel starts crawling for them. And then Marjorie, senses start to kick in. She thinks something's wrong. She sees that Tommen and Cersei aren't there, which means that Cersei doesn't want to suffer the consequences, but the Sparrow doesn't listen to her.
Yeah.
And I thought that Marjorie would have gotten out of it.
I was really thinking Marjorie was out of there too. Like, she would just be like, fuck this, and gotten out, but they stopped her.
I know, so she was like kind of like pushing her way out, and I was like, oh, okay, come on, she's got to make it. Nope, they blew up everybody, except for who's left? Like Cersei and Qyburn, right? In King's Landing?
Yeah, that's it. Because even, what's his name was there too, right? The Lannister? Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin was there. Everyone's there, which totally makes
Margie's
sense.
Dad,
you need to start
all those dudes.
Yeah, you need to start making room for next season. And I think the majority of next season is going to be around King's Landing and more north. But we'll definitely get more into that later. But then Cersei looks obviously smug as hell. She goes to see Septa and Nella. They make sure to show the mountain kind of pull away from defending Tommen. And, she just confessed. She's like teasing her or whatever. And then she allows the mountain in. And then it's very...
suggested
that he raped her.
That's not funny. It's terrible. Creepy as hell.
Yeah, but at the same time, that is the best. I'm terrible. That is the worst punishment That is the worst punishment you could have given her.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
that just proves how evil Cersei is.
Yeah, so that's a way to get under someone's skin.
Yeah.
And then
she succeeds on many levels. Like, as if you didn't hate her enough, this episode happens, right?
Yeah, and what I liked about it is she kept saying what pleases her. It pleases her to have sex with her brother, to protect her children. It pleases her to imagine all of the sparrows burning and what their thoughts were before they died, and their thoughts of how they failed to capture Cersei or whatever. And this is kind of a hint to who she's going to be as a queen, because now she doesn't have her son anymore. So it literally will please her to hurt people and hurt her enemies.
Yeah.
And it really did please the hell out of her to kill those sparrows.
Well, see, she didn't. I don't think she anticipated Tommen dying though. But
no,
she knew
100%.
Tommen was going to be crushed no matter what.
No, she didn't. But she's been expecting his death, so that's why when poor old Tommen jumps off the building there, it caught me off guard. But I love how they did it. They stayed at the window where the sept was in the middle of it, and there was two pillars holding up. Or centering the window, and then there's a little bit off screen, and then he just falls. Yeah. And I loved how they did that. I loved how Tommen wasn't killed. I love how he killed himself, because it's so sad. The only decisive choice the kid has ever made is killing himself.
Yeah, that's what was so, like, it's awful. Suicide's awful, but the way that they wrote his character, it's like, that was literally his only choice. He lost everything that was, like, dear to him, and he knew he would never rule as a king. He knew his mom was an evil witch. Like, what else is he gonna do? He has no control. Yeah. He's a boy. Like, he's totally stuck. It's like, that's it. And it was like his last sort of turning the knife to his mom.
Yeah, he's like always shadowed by his mother.
It's such good, crazy writing. I can't even believe it.
He can never beat his mother. He will never fight his mother. But that being said, his mother is always there to, like, be there and interfere and that kind of thing. So he decided to take his own life. Yeah. But anyways, so now we go to the twins. So Jaime's there eating at the Frey table. Or the Frey, what is it? It's like a meeting hall?
Yeah, the dining hall. Dining
hall, where the Red Wedding took place?
Yeah.
And we see this girl...
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts? Okay.
Okay. So you took that and ran with it, not me.
So there's this girl who's constantly staring at Jaime. And we learn later that it's Arya. But I was wondering, why does Arya have such an interest in Jaime? Because, like, she doesn't know what he looks like, but she obviously knows he's Jaime Lannister.
I think she tried to poison them. I still hold by that.
I don't think so.
Both him and Bronn never drank.
That doesn't work for me. See, to me, the reason she left the faceless people is she doesn't kill innocents. So what she did was a targeted attack on every person named Frey.
Yeah.
So I think the smile, like I was trying to just figure out what the smile meant, because I know she has a feud with the Lannisters. She hates Cersei, but she doesn't have any beef with Jaime, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think she knows about him pushing her out the window, but I think he knows. She must have heard the rumors of the real story, right? Like through people who she was allied with.
And at the
before
same
she
time,
ran, right?
Yeah. And they're allies, so naturally I'm sure she would be a little pissed off at Jaime because he's the head of the Lannister house now, and their houses have been feuding for the last, like, however many years.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just one of those things that they had to interact, so you had her in the scene more, right? Because it was really Bronn and Jaime's scene, and then it was just to introduce this girl in the background, highlighting that she's in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jaime sets up Bronn with a couple ladies. Walder Frey comes in. And what we learned about Walder Frey is that he now put Lord Edmure back in his cell.
Yeah.
And Walder Frey hasn't done much fighting in his past. And, Jaime does remind him that no houses fear the Freys. They fear the Lannisters.
Yeah.
So he made a point to him that, what's the point of us having you if we have to come and save your ass every single time you get into shit?
Mm-hmm.
Which was good, because, that's an excellent point. And he's just sitting there bragging.
Something what his dad would say.
Yeah, and Walder Frey's just sitting there bragging on other houses' success. And he's just managed to kind of float with them.
Well, yeah. It seems like the twins are like sort of the trailer park of Westeros, right? Like you can tell that they're like low-born, it seems like. Everybody hates on them. Nobody wants to deal with them. None of his daughters were married off until Edmure was forced to, so he always gets shit on. So it's just him graveling and sort of, not graveling is not the good word, but like just swimming in his victory, even though it wasn't his. He's just a piece of shit for being a piece of shit, right?
Yeah. And now what's interesting about this is that the Freys don't own the twins anymore, and the twins is what connects. It is the pathway that connects the north to the south. It's how people get in and out.
Yeah. It's like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Exactly. That was the problem Robb had, is that he had to marry to get across the bridge to make his way to King's Landing, right?
Yes.
So now, naturally, who do you think would take ownership? I think the Lannisters are just going to take over the twins now. Because they're like, oh shit, Walder Frey's dead, all the Freys are dead, there are no heirs. So now the Lannister army will take over the twins.
Well, it's weird, because now it's like, I guess we're going to get into like magic teleportation. I don't know what time frames they're going to skip over in the next one to move the chess pieces around the board. So right now it's open because the Lannister army left. Victory, easy victory, they left as we see Jaime gets back to King's Landing in the end. So nobody's at the twins unless she only killed a select few people and left
I think she killed all the
small, like the entire army.
I think she killed.
Like they had a small contingent.
Yeah, I'm sure that the armies. There's still some armies, but every person named Frey is dead.
Yeah,
it's like the Starks. If you kill every Stark, there's still like Mormonts and Manderleys and all the supporters.
Yeah, she wiped.
It's not the actual house.
She wiped the Freys off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and the twins aren't even like, they don't even hold anything.
No,
I believe they're in Riverrun.
They're a strategic stronghold that separates.
It's just a strong. It's literally just a stronghold. That's all it is. So they're not even a house, like a real house.
Well, they are, but not respected house.
Yeah. So, I think Cersei might send Jaime there to get the twins, and that goes in line perfectly. We'll talk about it later, but I think she's going to be sending the Lannister army north, and I think the Lannisters holding the twins is set up perfectly. Walder Frey's magically dead. There are no more Freys holding the twins. Now the Lannisters have access to it, and they can easily go north.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it would have been fine anyway because they were aligned with them, but whatever.
Yeah, it falls to them by default, but if it's unguarded, then it's open to anybody, depending on what Jon does next.
Yeah. So we go to the next scene. There's Cersei and, well, dead Tommen.
Dead Tommen.
So,
Poor Tommen.
So Cersei's just kind of staring at him with a blank stare, and she wants to bury him with Tywin, Joffrey, and Marjorie.
Yeah.
But the real key from this is that she's not emotional at all.
No.
Which we've been saying this forever, is that, she has had time to kind of prepare for it. So it's like she did everything she could to avoid his death, but it's inevitable.
She went all in on the poker table, even though her son was there, and swallowed him up. That's it. Like, she knew it was coming. It was only inevitable. If this had to happen, this is what had to happen. It's like, at the end, you see her smugly smiling as she got the throne. You know what I mean? So she knew it was part of the plan anyways, whether he was going to be sitting on the throne and she was going to be whispering in his ear, or she's literally sitting on the throne. Yeah. So she got what she intended to get.
Because now literally all she has is the thought of the prophecy of a queen that is more beautiful than her is going to take everything she holds dear. Because now all 3 of her kids are dead, and it seems like the only thing she really has dear is the throne. I don't even know if you call it what, like, she cares about it. It's just, I don't know, she might just want the power.
Oh, so the queen no longer is Marjorie in the prophecy. It's Daenerys.
It's got to be Daenerys.
Right? Because what other queen is there?
Yeah, but I think honestly, like, or
could be. Yeah, it could be Sansa in a long shot.
It could be, but like maybe it's already happened. I'd have to sit back and look at it. But is there a character in the past that has already taken everything she holds dear? Her children are what she holds most dear. So I'd have to look back and see. But I think Cersei's gonna kill herself. I think, like, Daenerys isn't gonna swoop in.
I don't know. Jaime seems really pissed at her, man.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, Jaime, but I'm saying that she's her own worst enemy.
Oh, yeah.
And that Daenerys isn't going to come in and take King's Landing. Cersei's going to knock it all down, and it's going to be her downfall. And her downfall is going to result in her death. And it's probably going to be Jaime who kills her.
Yeah, I don't know. This is weird. It ended crazy. Like, it ended so crazy.
Woo! Yeah, so it's like, now she doesn't have her children. So all she really wants now is what? Power?
Power and vengeance, I would think.
Or does she even want power? I feel like she's just pissed. Like, she's just like, all right.
Oh, no, she wants power. She wants power. But against who, though? You know what I mean? Like, if all the prophecies come true, I don't know what she's wanting to do. So I think it's just let the world burn. If I can't live, then I'm gonna burn the world.
I think it literally is like
some men just want to see the world burn.
Like some men just want to watch the world burn. No, she was telling Jaime that, show the Lannisters, like, pay their debts and what they do to their enemies, that kind of thing. And I think she's gonna use the throne as a place of vengeance. She's gonna go after every enemy that she thinks has wronged her.
Oh, she's the
and
mad
she's just
queen.
Gonna sit there and do it. Like the North. She's got it for the North. She's out for the North, man. Sansa's there.
Yeah.
Fucking hates Sansa. Jon, who deserted the Night's Watch, she's out to get the North, man. And there's tons of more delegates out there who she wants to kill, and nobody supports her.
So well, she's in a pincher move though. Pincher. She's in a pincher move because she doesn't know that Targaryens are coming, or she might know now. By the time it rolls on to first episode, there might be like scouts telling her there's an army heading for Westeros from Essos, and there's a huge army now in the north rallying. Jon Snow, Ned's bastard son, is leading this army. So she's stuck at King's Landing. There's not much she can do. That's why Littlefinger's
Littlefinger is definitely the guy, and I got some evidence to back it up.
Yeah.
But
that fucking crazy smile wasn't enough for you at the end?
Oh, that was pretty. It was a pretty intense smile.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get to
it. It was literally he almost could have been twirling his like diabolic mustache. That's what they could have had him doing.
I know, he gave her a little angry scuffle there.
Sansa.
That was so good. All right, so let's go over to something a little bit more jolly. Let's go to the Citadel. So, what I didn't notice until watching it a second time, which is really stupid of me, is the giant tower actually had the White Ravens leaving. So Sam got there.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, when the White Ravens were leaving to tell everyone that winter has come.
Well, see, I'm a hardcore nerd, and I look at pictures of like people paint on DeviantArt, like fantasy worlds and stuff like that, and sometimes they'll paint like Old Town, how they see it.
Wow.
And there's a thing on Reddit called Birds for Scale. So it's always like castles or mountains, and it's always like these birds, just to show how big it is. So I just thought they did that for effect. But yeah, it makes sense. They're letting
it was
the
White
birds fly.
Ravens leaving, yeah. But yeah, so Sam and Gilly arrive, and you really wouldn't stop talking about the little thing he shoved his sword into. The non-conspicuous satchel.
The most inconspicuous. Oh, is that a sword you're carrying? Come on.
No, it's just
like wrapping a tennis racket for a Christmas gift perfectly under the table. Under the
like
tree,
a hockey
I mean.
stick, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Come
so he gets
on.
there.
Like they needed to, why did they even wrap it? He could have just held on to it. Nobody knows it's a Valyrian steel.
Randall Tarley might be in the bushes. You never know.
It's like the biggest sword. It's like Conan's sword, and he just has it wrapped perfectly like a sword.
Yeah, I thought
it's a sword-shaped package. What I don't know.
Anyways, it was pretty funny. He had this funny interaction with this guy, and classic Sam. I fucking love Sam. I suppose life is irregular. Freaking loved it. I thought he was hilarious.
Yeah.
So he goes into the library, and we notice this right off the bat in our reaction video. It is Game of Thrones credit scene. You get all of the you have all the like doohickeys and shit that like tell like the time and the months and the.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to see like a geared model, like working model of the whole
Westeros and Essos and exactly.
Like
and you even see
that
like
you crank
on the side,
and it shows like when the seasons come. Like
Yeah,
you know how
and
there's like old school calculators for eclipses? It's almost like that's how they figure out when winter's coming, like an almanac. And that's the whole intro.
That'd be sick. If there's any close resemblance of technology, it's here. With like gears
100%.
and pulleys and all that shit.
That's where they get all the knowledge, right?
You see on the side, there's the banner, like it's like a golden banglet kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it. It has like the Baratheon Stark. Like it has like
it's almost like a
Game of Thrones thing to it.
What do you call it? It's like a tapestry, but there's another word for it when it's like long ways, but it's a golden halo of all the houses, but it's almost like pictographic. Like you see like the wolf eating the stuff and all those things, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's like prophecies too. Because it seems like
definitely.
it's very sciencey, but at the same time, I wonder if there's a hint of wizardry there.
Yeah, and the one thing that I pulled from this, and so have a lot of other people, is that this hints that Sam could be telling the story of A Song of Ice and Fire.
Could be.
Because it's like, it just kind of connects all the pieces together. Because he's there, we have, this whole throne season, we've been surrounded by Citadel, like, content from season 1 all the way through, and now we're here and we're actually seeing it. And, like, the show is based off of all of these different icons, and it's all filled in the Citadel. So I found that was interesting.
Yeah, like, what if it's... Imagine it was Sam and his, like, D&D buddies at the Citadel, and it's like, well, I got a story for you guys. And the whole book series is Sam playing Dungeons and Dragons at the Citadel.
It's so funny.
And it's all like they're all in the Matrix.
Man, Jorah has got to arrive, man.
No, I think that's a solid thing. I knew I didn't think we'd see him this season after we saw him part ways, but that's where he's going. 100% that's where he's going.
But that's the next story arc, because I think Sam isn't going to finish his training. I think he's going to have to leave.
No, the bell's going to be ringing too loud for him to stay there.
He's going to have valuable information. He's going to have to leave and go assist Jon, and I think Jorah will actually come with him. And I think that'll be kind of like a story arc.
So I don't know what would happen in this case, but they pull a lot of things from history, right? And the Dothraki are like the Mongolians, and like there's all these things that line up. Even what Arya did to the Freys, where she cooked them and stuff like that, that's from like Sumerian history, and they did stuff like that, right? So I really picture the library that he's in, like the school, to me is like the Library of Alexandria, which was in Egypt, which is this huge epicenter of all knowledge of the world. Like if you pulled into the Alexandria harbor back then when it existed, they would come to your ship, they would take your books, and monks would like copy down the book that you had, and they would keep a copy there no matter where you came from, right? That burnt down. of course, through war. That place is going. That place is going to burn.
I wonder how though. It's the farthest south.
I don't know. But that's maybe a theory right now. That place is gonna burn.
Dragons can burn it pretty good.
That was so the Dothraki are like the type of people that burn the egg, like the barbarians came and burned it, right?
Yeah.
And it was such a shame because there's all this knowledge that people had from everywhere in the world at that time. But I don't picture them burning it because Daenerys would be pissed that they burnt it. It's an epicenter of knowledge.
And it would be pretty hard for a bunch of Dothraki to burn this giant city.
I think something else happens. I can't say what. I have no even theory for that. I just picture that burning. They really showed how grandiose this thing is, and they love doing that and burning it down.
Well, we know Daenerys wouldn't do it naturally, so there'd have to be something to cause it.
You never know. Could be some other conflict. Maybe Sam burns it down accidentally.
Ma, sorry.
My dad's coming. I need to get out of here. He fucking lights the fire and runs.
No, that'd be interesting though, because it'd be like Westeros has to press the reset button and kind of start over.
Yeah, like everything's going to shit.
I think that'd be an interesting idea. I can't think of how that would happen. The only thing I could possibly think of that comes in my mind now, for some reason Daenerys doesn't want somebody to access knowledge. Because she's the only person. Knowledge. She's the only person who could burn it, I feel like. But I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think... I don't know. Too much. Let's go to Winterfell.
Yeah.
So we see the scene with Davos, and he throws the stag at Melisandre, the burnt stag. And Davos gets Melisandre to tell Jon about her burning Shireen at the stake.
Yeah.
It was a great scene. It was very well acted.
Yeah, it was really good.
Very emotional. But so I remember I didn't think Jon would do anything, but it makes sense to me that Jon would send Melisandre south.
Yeah.
Which I'm angry that I didn't think of that. Like, it just didn't really I'm like, nah, like whatever. Like she healed him, like whatever. But I'm the person who always brings up, like a year ago, I've been talking about Melisandre saying to Arya that they will meet again. Mm-hmm. And for Melisandre to go south, nothing but confirms what's going to happen.
Oh, 100%. She's now, we all, like, for all intents and purposes, Arya's heading north now, right? It's not like she's going to head south to kill the queen. I think she at least wants to stop in at home, check shit out.
That's what I think. But Enchantment of Eternity, Mark, who I had the show with, he thinks that he's actually going to be going to King's Landing, which is an interesting idea. But I personally don't see the motives behind going and killing Cersei right now. But it could be there. I'm not sure.
I just think it's the next time we see Arya is her getting news that her brother Jon is now in the lead of an army, like right. King of the North, and Sansa is there safe with him. Like, I think that would outweigh her motives to kill. She's not a cold-blooded 100%. Killer, even though she is a badass cold-blooded killer. Like, that's the whole reason why she left, is she's a Stark, so she wants to sort of, what do you call it when you tag a base to run back? You gotta tag it before you can run home again. I'm the worst sports guy ever. It's almost like you gotta tag the bag again, because she's gotta go back to say, hey guys, I'm alive. And I'm a badass.
No, she would never, I'm a badass. She would never choose Cersei over her family. Like, no. Just think about it. Like, Jon is what kept her from being faceless. Needle was the one thing that she could never let go. Yeah. And now you think when she gets to Westeros, she's all of a sudden not going to go see Jon when she has the opportunity to?
And she's too castled up. She's castled up. Cersei's too castled up. There's no way she's getting in there. And maybe that's what ends up happening. She infiltrates the castle and she's the one to do it, or set in motion things that happen in King's Landing that does Cersei in. I just don't see Arya being the one to kill Cersei, in my mind at least.
I don't even think Arya's going to King's Landing.
No, I just think maybe, it sort of sorts us both out. Melisandre sees Arya maybe beneath the mask and says, hey, your brother and sister are alive. She's the one that gives her that information, and that's why she heads north.
Well, I think Melisandre and Arya are definitely going to be the first to meet over anyone else. But I'm just wondering, say if Arya goes north, what does Melisandre do? Does she all of a sudden find, maybe she stumbles across Daenerys and finds another person who could maybe hold the claim of Azor Ahai?
Well, so the red lady, I don't know why I call her that. The Melisandre has been hanging out with the prince that was promised 2 times now in the north, sort of cut off from any communication with everything that's going in the south or even in Essos. So she hooks up with what's going on a little bit further south, and she's gonna know, oh, like something's crazy's going on here. But I don't know, she's such a weird character now for me, because she went from being dark gray when she was helping what's his face, and then she turns into like sort of like a savior, but she's like an unsure of herself savior.
But that's what all of a sudden what makes her less gray, is that now she's like unconfident.
Yeah, but where's she going? Like, what is she? She's just banished, basically.
Well, okay, we're obviously going to be doing a huge predictions video, and we're going to go like pretty much fan fiction. But what I think is going to happen is Arya isn't going to strive to go north, and Melisandre isn't going to strive to go south. They're going to be stuck in the middle of a really important event.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is they're going to be stuck between the north and the Lannisters, maybe coming together and colliding. And then Daenerys comes in, and that's where all 3 of them meet. And we're going to get into Daenerys' path later.
Melisandre, I think she just needs answers. She's so unsure, and she's just like, maybe she's got to run into Buddy. I don't know names right now. It's too late for me. What's the Red Priest? And she's like, I did it. I don't know how I did it. What next?
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
And that's how we see Arya hook up with the Mountain?
Yeah, she can meet up with the Brotherhood, yeah. I'm thinking that Brienne and Pod, they're on a boat, and I think they're going to be the only ones who go to Winterfell and meet up with them. I feel like everyone else in that melting pot, Thoros Emir, Beric Dondarrion, the Hound, Arya, Melisandre, I feel like they're going to be at an event, and that's how everyone's going to collide. They're not going to go to Winterfell. They're all going to meet up at a specific place.
Yeah, that's what I'm still trying to figure out what those Brotherhood, like, what were they doing? They said we sort of have a job.
They pretty much were saying that they were rallying Bannermen to help take over. Not Bannermen. They were rallying, people to help take back or hold River Run for
the Blackfish.
The Blackfish.
So they were on the Blackfish's side.
Yeah, because they wanted to help them out. Yeah, because they don't like the Freys because of the Red Wedding.
Okay.
And they want to help the weak and all that fun stuff.
So if that's the case, then I don't know, man. There's so many pieces. No, you would think by now that there's so many pieces off the board, but it seems like now there's so many pieces on the board.
Yeah, well, they were telling the Hound that their overall goal is to fight for the real war, which is against the White Walkers. So that's the overarching goal.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's the overarching goal for everything by the end of this coming season.
Yeah, but the difference is they know it. So that's where they're going to end up. So I'm just wondering what puzzle pieces they're going to be put in place for them to get to that point. Are they just going to walk straight there? Or are they going to stumble across something, which is another story arc, which will lead to something else?
Well, they have the last remaining houses to go to war against each other. And really the last season of Game of Thrones before it's Game of, like, Song of Ice and Fire. You get what I mean? Like, this is it has to be. I was saying the whole time that this was going to be, but the next season literally has to be the last Game of Thrones. Like, no more political stuff after that. It's the apocalypse. There's White Walkers running rampant.
I'm calling, you're getting just as much White Walkers in season 6 than you did in season 7. Like, pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Or maybe a bit more. Like,
Couple
a little
hints,
bit more, but not
close
much
calls
more.
with Bran, check-ins with Bran. That's it.
Yeah, so let's go
but
over
the wall's
to the next...
coming down.
It's coming down. Well, let's go over to Jon and Sansa.
Ed.
So Jon and Sansa go on top of the castle, and they watch Melisandre ride away in the cold. And this goes to the director. It was shot so amazingly how they're divided by the barrier. And I think that's actually a hint to the next season. I think there's going to be kind of, barriers between them. I think Sansa's going to be a bit angry because she brought in the veil, but yet Jon is always coming in and getting all the credit.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be some tension there for sure.
But here behind closed doors, Jon offered her the Lord's room. He said that she deserves it because they won the war because of Sansa, because she brought in the veil. Sansa apologizes for not telling Jon about the veil and Peter Baelish. But Jon says they need to stick together because they have so many enemies. And Sansa tells him that winter's arrived. So, yeah, you got anything to say about this?
No, it's pretty much just like checklist for this part. You know what I mean?
So
like,
many,
what else were they gonna do? They're not gonna fight, and she's not gonna. He's not undermining her at all. He didn't ask for any of this stuff, and she knows how legit he is. Everyone there selected him, and he even said like, no, she should be. No, you should be. You know what I mean? Like he's trying his best to pass the buck, but he can't. He's cursed in that sense. He's cursed to be the hero.
Yeah, and I can't call it now, but Sansa's definitely going to be doing things in the background behind Jon's back.
She's gonna need to.
But she'll never do anything to hurt Jon. Like, she's never going out against Jon. She'll always be for Jon, even though she'll have resentment towards him for
She's filling she's filling the Catelyn void. You know what I mean? Catelyn acted because she needed to, and that's like whether it went against the rules where she let Jaime go and shit like that. She's gonna be pulling shit like that.
Yeah, like Jon wants one thing, and then Sansa's kind of doing little tweaks.
Yeah.
In the background,
supporting, even though it might not seem like the best decision. It's they're working for the same goal, taking different paths.
Yeah, exactly. So let's quickly talk about Dorne. So Lady Olenna's there, just pretty much shit talking all of the Sand Snakes. I love that she called one of them a little boy, because I swear to God, that's what I called her like 10 episodes ago. But, she said she lost everything. She knows that her whole house has died, her granddaughter, her grandson, Mace Tyrell, her son, all that stuff. And then Varys comes out and offers her fire and blood, which speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Great. Daenerys now has the Tyrells, the Martells, all that fun stuff.
Even before setting foot on the fucking land, she's got a lot.
Yeah, and it was even teased in season 5, like Tyrion said, like, you could side with the Tyrells, maybe not, like, we don't know, but now they have them, so that's good. But then it goes from fire to blood, snaps to Daenerys, and she says bye to Daario. And an interesting idea, okay, so Daario says, before Daenerys says goodbye to him, he says, if we strike the West Coast, take Casterly Rock, and make them run to King's Landing, or we take Casterly Rock, the Lannisters will have nowhere to run except for King's Landing. So the idea that, you just clear house, and then there you go, the Lannisters have nowhere to hide, you just wipe them out at King's Landing, right? So now that Daario's left behind, what do you think Daenerys' plan is?
I don't know. There's so many pieces. I couldn't tell if the Martells were in that fleet. I've only seen it once, and it was sort of like, whoa. Right?
They were.
So they already have them. That means either they went to Dorne with Varys, dropped Varys off, and then they all went for a sailboat drive. I don't know where they're landing.
I think what it was is that, people get so angry about the timelines. I'm not angry about this anymore.
Oh my God, it's so many like spinning plates here. Like you have to give them a little bit of a break.
No, but it's obvious time has passed. You see the gold, it zooms in on the golden dragons on the front of the boats.
Yeah.
Showing that time has definitely passed for the Targaryens, for them to make those Targaryen boats and make the bows nice and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the Martells probably went there to get their men and take them back to Dorne.
Like everyone's armored up. You see Theon, he's armored up. Oh, they're all fucking armored up. They're ready to go to war. But when you move a fleet that big, probably the biggest fleet that's ever fleeted, then you're going to have news of it. So where are they hitting? It almost has to be they have to hit the ground right there, or the closest spot they have.
Dude, I think I nailed this. Okay? Hear me out. So I think she goes and she lands right in Sunspear, right?
Which is the closest possible spot.
Which is all the way in Dorne in the closest possible spot.
Yeah. Plus they're protected if they land in Dorne because they're allied.
And there's water surrounding them, right? So then they make their way west, right?
But they're sending Theon and the fleet up. Those guys those guys are only good on water. She's got a whole army that's only good on land.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're going to send them with maybe some of her men to take Pike. I'm not sure. The Iron Islands, I'm not sure.
I don't think they'll
But
go there first.
here's what I think her route is. Okay, it literally works out perfectly. So first of all, I want to clarify who has Storm's End. Okay, it's owned by the Baratheons. Who has Storm's End now?
Who knows?
I think that's going to be a plot point for the next season. I think Cersei's either going to try and take it or Daenerys is going to try and take it. I think
But
Cersei's
what
gonna
house
be like,
is there even? The
that's
Baratheons
what
got
that-
wiped
I-
out too.
That's the thing. I don't know. So I
It
think
would be Cersei's by default, but
See, that's
then
what
it
I'm saying.
was. Ah, that's a weird one.
I think Cersei takes some men and claims Storm's End, right? So she gets that region. What I think Daenerys does is I think she goes into Dorne. She stays along the west coast. She goes into Highgarden, right, where the Tullys are. Okay? They get their forces. They continue further north to Casterly Rock. Take Casterly Rock. They keep going. They skip King's Landing because I think her motto is you want to have everybody supporting you in Westeros before you take the kingdom.
Yeah.
You don't want battle in the capital. So the idea is
No,
to
you want a siege.
you want to take every puzzle piece from Cersei and then take the throne. You can't just take the throne and sit there and have all these people coming to get you and like all these enemies like Cersei did. I think Daenerys is going to do a clean sweep. She's going to hit every single spot and take it over and then go to King's Landing. So I think she's going to Casterly Rock. She's going to go to Riverrun, and I think Riverrun now is either going to be ruled by Edmure. I doubt it. I think Cersei's going to have Edmure killed, and she's going to take it over.
Yeah,
So I think-
he's not surviving.
Exactly. So I think there's going to be a fight around that area, and there's the Eyrie, right?
What happened?
So it's interesting.
What happened to why can't I fucking think of his name? Who was Robert's brother? Why
Gendry?
can't who?
Gendry?
No, that's his bastard. Who was his brother? Why can't I think of his name?
Stannis and Renly.
Stannis.
Stannis is
Stannis'
dead.
wife is not
She
dead.
killed herself.
Oh, she
Yeah, she
killed
did.
herself. That's right. Shit. Because I was thinking that she would be the only one that's left at Storm's End.
Yeah. So what I think is happening here, I think Peter Baelish is going to plan something with Cersei, and I think Cersei's going to send men up to the north. And I think what's going to happen is Daenerys is going to be going around taking Casterly Rock, taking Riverrun, and the Eyrie is going to join forces with the Lannister army and fight the north. And Daenerys will be the one to break up the fight with her dragons.
Yes, she has dragons though. Like I feel like she'd be an easy take.
I think she'll sit in the middle and like stop the fight. And I think the fight will literally be like they'll use the twins, get into the north, and then they'll be approaching the north. And very south of the north, they're going to have the battle. And I think
Like in the
That's where-
Riverlands.
that's where Peter Baelish is going to like do his betrayal. And that's like where the like all this shit's going to go down. Like I think it'll be nuts. And it makes sense too. Like she's going to send the Lannisters that way. I think Daenerys will go all around west, all north, and take everything until she goes to King's Landing. And then by the time she goes to King's Landing, it'll already be burned down because Cersei would have heard of Daenerys stopping the war, taking the Lannisters, all that stuff.
Yeah, everyone's swearing fealty to the lost Targaryen queen, and she's desperate. That's why she burns the shit to the ground.
Yeah, and I think to me that makes total sense. Daenerys will not step near King's Landing until every place is taken and sworn fealty to her.
Yeah.
And
No, that
then
makes
she will
sense.
take King's Landing.
But I don't know, like, if she goes too far north, right?
What's that?
It depends on how far north she goes, because she's going to run into the North Army, who are going to have to parlay on what's going on with them.
But I think that's what's going to happen. I think around the twins, around south of the north, you're going to have the Lannisters and the Vale clashing with the north, and then Arya and Melisandre and the Brotherhood are going to be there to witness it, and they're going to be caught in the center of it. And I think that's going to be like this big like thing.
Like, there's so many dynamics here. What happens if, like, Tyrion and Daenerys meet up with Sansa and Jon? Are they like, oh, we were just going to come south to, like, kill Cersei and sort of make our way down? Like, I don't even know if they really want to do that. Jon seems like content being, like, king in the north. What is his next move? He probably wants revenge on, like, the Freys as well.
Well, he wants to protect the wall. So
I know the
think
Freys are dead, but it's like he just
Yeah.
wants to be the North, right?
Well, I think that's what Daenerys will have him be in this moment, because she has enough men to take it. So I think she's gonna say, "You watch the wall and watch these white whatevers you guys are talking about. I'm gonna go like south now and take King's Landing because I've rallied all of Westeros on my side." And then boom, she goes in. It's burnt to a crisp. I think maybe Jaime leaves. I don't know. There's a lot to think about.
Unless she pulls a Stannis and goes fucking all the way up north, literally beyond the wall, and comes down.
No, she won't. I'm confident she starts at Dorne, because she has Highgarden and Dorne like next to each other. What are the two regions? Whatever. She has the whole south. She has all that land where she has no rivals. So to me, it just makes sense.
Yeah, but maybe she knows she's got it there, and there's nowhere else to move. I don't know. It's interesting to see, because I always picture just Jon and those guys on the move, but there's no reason for them to move now. They've retaken the north. There's no one contesting them other than the Lannisters, which we'll probably get into, for the time being. You know what I mean?
And the Vale. I think the Vale will end up.
But right now, the Vale saved their ass. So I don't think that, like, we know Peter Baelish is up to something, but those tensions haven't got to that level yet. So I don't know. There's no call to arms for the North, is what I'm saying. I don't picture them needing to fight right now. So that's why maybe the Targaryens coming in, maybe the word of the Targaryens coming in is motivation for them to move. I don't know.
Well, I think the Vale's definitely going to be a problem too, because remember when they were doing the King of the North speech, Lord Royce made sure to speak up and say that he wasn't happy with wildlings and he will not be supporting foreign invaders.
Yeah, so there's a strong footing for Baelish to cause some shit.
To cause him to take his armies and side with the Lannisters. And, people will say, he did stand up, and I think he said he was standing up doing the King of the North bit. But, you kind of have to do that when everyone stands up and is preaching King of the North.
Yeah.
But
no, there's definitely going to be some shit there. But, like, for them to fight a war to go south, they just fought a huge battle that they got through the skin of their teeth. Yes, they think they have the Vale, but I think early on you're going to see him leave with the Vale back to Riverrun. And then you're not going to know what the allegiance is there. And who knows? Like they have to sort of rebuild themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think she needs Jon to go south. I think she would just say, you stay here and watch the walls. Like, I think that's literally what it is. You stay here and watch the north as I go in and take the throne. But, anyways.
I don't know if they, like, that's what I mean. Like, why are they motivated to have the throne? They've never been wanting to, like, that. The Starks have never wanted to be kings.
I'm saying Daenerys wants them to stay
Daenerys
north.
will want to have him stay there.
Daenerys just tells him to stay there, and then she'll take the north. She'll help him from the Vale and the Lannisters, and she'll go back and take the throne. Yeah,
but there's a whole Bran factor. If Bran comes down with news of what's going on and could literally show them, maybe that would be cool.
I think Bran comes in last episode 7. He walks through.
He's so close to the wall right now.
I know, but I think he's staying there until he has to leave.
I was fucking leaving it till the last minute.
I think he's going to see a vision in the Weirwood Tree of White Walkers approaching, and I think he's going to leave because of that. Yeah. And he'll have a couple-day warning or whatever.
It's like one of those old-school bombs that's just like a wick, and the White Walkers now are the burning wick that's ever approaching the wall.
Yeah, and then you have the open wall at the end with no White Walkers. So the White Walkers will be open to come in in the next season.
Like the desperation shot of what I always thought would happen in this one is the wall no longer stands. That's it, right? No security blanket for Westeros.
Yeah, anyway, so let's go back to the twins. So Walder Frey's eating pie, and then this chick comes in.
The shittiest tasting pie probably ever.
I know. And then he asks where his sons are, and she's like, "Put here, my lord." And his sons were in the pie, and he got a little sick, and then Arya killed him just like the way Catelyn died. Yeah. So now, we talked about this earlier, the Lannisters are most likely in control of the twins, and then Riverrun, either Lord Edmure or the Lannisters. But I think Cersei will have Edmure killed. And I think, what if she had, how interesting would this be? if she had Jaime go back and he had to kill Edmure after promising him his life on his honor as a Lannister if he let them take back Riverrun, and Jaime was commanded to kill him. That would be interesting because he'd, again, have to break his oaths.
Because of Cersei, which would add up to why he's probably going to be pissed at her enough to kill her near the end of this thing.
Yeah, so I'm thinking the Lannisters are rushing north, taking back Riverrun, and then just doing all that shit. So the Lannisters, I think, will own the Twins, they'll own Riverrun, they'll own all of the Eyrie, all of Riverrun. Like, they'll own all... Oh, not Eyrie. They'll own all of Riverrun, and they'll own all of Storm's End.
Do you think Tyrion and Jaime will ever see each other again?
I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about it, and I was very confident that they would.
Because, like, how will that go over? Right? If Tyrion shows up with an army coming to kill pretty much Jaime and Cersei and all the Lannisters line, right? He was the one, like, that sort of warned him about all this shit. And it's like, he killed his dad. Like, obviously Jaime has a soft spot for Tyrion, but, like, how much?
I think it might be one of those things where they end off on they talk again, and they end off on a terrible note, but then he ends up killing Cersei to save Tyrion and everyone else approaching King's Landing.
Like, he kills the Mad King again, even though it's the Mad Queen now?
Yeah, like, he ended off, like, terrible terms with Tyrion, like, he wanted to kill him, whatever, but then he ended up going back, and he was going to side with Cersei, but then he ended up killing her because she wanted to blow up Tyrion and all of them coming in, maybe? I don't know. I got to sit and, like, organize my thoughts.
Yeah, it's got to be that. It's got to be him choking her out because she's going to burn the whole place down again.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, man, that's so crazy.
It makes so much sense to me. If the Lannisters now have the bridge that takes you to the north,
like
the Twins, that's the Golden Gate Bridge, man. It's like perfect setup. But anyways, let's go over to Winterfell. Alright, so we learned that Peter Baelish wants Sansa and the Iron Throne. We knew he wanted the Iron Throne. We didn't know that he really wanted Sansa. But he wanted the North behind Sansa, and he said, how could they love a motherless oh my, how could they love a motherless bastard from the South? And then Sansa walks away.
Yeah.
So, did you pull anything from that? I didn't. I just thought that really he put all of his chips in Sansa, but he didn't realize that she has grown up and she can manipulate just like he can. And she realizes his manipulation, which he didn't predict. Her growth as a person.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's the only factor that he played wrong, right? She's the only anomaly in his whole grand scheme.
That's what's so funny about it. Yeah, she is literally the one problem in everything. Yeah, exactly. I like that. I think that's cool.
Right? Because he's such a strategist, and he thinks nothing but logic and mindful things, and then boom, comes to his heart, Catelyn and her.
And the one person that he loves now. Yeah, the one person that he loves now standing in his way.
Yeah. But that's now, who knows, it might be enough to be like, Sansa.
I think,
right?
Yeah, I think now it's his mindset is, I have no allies here anymore, I'm done.
Yeah, like I can't win her. I can't win favor with her. He might have the same motives as Cersei now.
But let's go over the wall. So Benjen made it very clear that ancient spells are carved into the wall's foundation that fight against the dead. So he said that Benjen said that he cannot pass.
Mm-hmm.
So Bran is 100% like bringing down the wall. Like, I feel like it's confirmed at this point.
Yeah, he's gonna screw something up.
Just because of all the story points put in place. He got marked. They made it clear. The magic now doesn't work anymore in this tree, Bran, because you fucked it up because you're marked now.
Yeah.
And now that mark is... And it's the same magic. Children of the Forest used the same magic to protect the tree as they did the wall. So guess what's going to happen? Bran's going to take down the magic again.
Yeah, but maybe a little bit smart. Like, he'll know that that's not a good idea, but still mess it up. Because I feel it's like a learning experience now for him. Like, he'll diffuse one bomb, but then not realize he set off a motion detector somewhere else. Get what I mean? That's what I'm getting the sense that, like, okay, I'm almost getting the sense that the Raven is kind of still with him. In a sense, like the way that he was killed, almost like he was like evaporated into his being.
Well, I
So
think
he
that's kind of
has
what happened.
he has knowledge of all these things.
Well,
So
that's what
he
he was doing,
knows
right?
of certain things, but the Night's King is supposed to be the ultimate enemy.
Well, that's what was happening, right? Is he was putting in all of his knowledge into Bran while Hodor was holding the door, right?
Yeah.
And before that.
But even after, right? He was still downloading when he left, and the Raven was cut. And that's what makes me think it. Like, she's
Yeah,
running when
exactly.
Benjen shows up, and he's still downloading the Matrix.
And that's why I thought it was cool, because Mira asked if Bran is ready. Like, are you sure if you're ready? And he said, I'm the three-eyed raven. Like, I have to be ready. And that's what I loved about it. So we were only going to see, like, Bran improve. And he's taking the mantle now, so he has to do what he has to do.
Well, no, I think he is accepting that fate is fate in this case. He has no choice whether he does or doesn't. It's already sort of sealed what happens.
I think it 100 speaks to fate. Like, I can't change what's going to happen, but for what to happen is going to happen, I have to make it through this.
That's why he wasn't even scared when all those dudes showed up around him. It was almost like he knew Benjen was coming, in a sense.
Yeah, he's like,
what I mean?
we're getting out of here.
Yeah, he's just like, yep, all right, let's do it. Next step.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's cool. So then he watches the Tower of Joy, and I liked how, Ned turns back again, which really shows how, that one time Bran spoke changed time forever. Like, Ned will forever look back because he heard something. And then Ned rests Dawn, which is the sword owned by... what's his name again? What's his name? The guy who dual wields. I forget his name. I feel like a noob.
The badass swordsman, we'll call him.
I forget his name. Damn it, I forgot his name. It starts with a D, I think. Anyway, so he rests his sword, which is called Dawn, over the bed. And this confirms something really important to me, and I think a lot of people are talking about this. Is that in Season 2, I believe it was Season 2, we're going to watch the seasons again, but remember in one episode, I think it was Season 2, Episode 1, and by the way, guys, I'm going off my knowledge of watching it last.
Knowledge.
Remember how it had a focus of a bleeding star? It was a red star, and it was flying over throughout the episode.
Yeah, it's the comet.
It's the comet. I'm not 100% sure if it was flying when Daenerys was reborn with her dragons. I'm not 100% sure. It might have been before or after that.
I think that's like the first thing you see in Season 1 is the comet, no?
No. You see it in like Season 2, Episode 1. And you see Melisandre. Oh. Melisandre's burning all of Stannis' supporters, and Stannis is pulling out the burning sword, which is what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have you have to be reborn under a burning star, right?
Yeah, it's part of the prophecy, I mean.
Yeah, so what has Dawn become? Dawn has become a bleeding star. It is a sword that has a sun on it that is now bleeding. And it has become a bleeding star. And remember, it really showed him rested over the bed. Like Jon was born underneath the star on the sword, which was bleeding.
Yeah.
So that fulfills the prophecy. Jon was born under the bleeding star. Yeah, which I thought was unbelievable.
Cool. Very cool.
No, but I think that confirms that Jon is pretty much Azor Ahai. But I ran this in a different direction. We always refer to Harry Potter.
Yeah. But it's so goddamn good, man. Next week, man, the new book.
What?
There's that new book coming out. The
what are you talking about?
Cursed Child.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, man.
Nice, I gotta give it a read. But, so anyways, Harry Potter's the chosen one, right? But Voldemort chose who the chosen one would be.
Yeah.
The chosen one was either going to be Neville
or
Harry. Yeah, by the way. And it was equal chance.
Yeah.
And I think
that's what it is. His choice sealed the fate.
It is the exact same thing, I'm calling it, between Daenerys and Jon.
Yeah.
There aren't multiple Azor Ahais. There's only one Azor Ahai. And both of them are both candidates. But what happened was the universe chose Jon. Or Bran chose Jon.
Could be.
That would be interesting. Bran chose Jon to be the savior.
He's the weaver of fate, it seems like. So it could be him. But
So it's like he chose Jon over Daenerys. I think that would be interesting.
That's what I mean. When does he become Azor Ahai? When he defeats the Night's King? Or when she defeats the Night King?
I just think it's the overall journey. Like,
I think this is the one thing now that they're leaving out until the Night King's dead. It's that we don't know who the savior is until he saves or she saves.
Yeah, and I think it's more like the savior's the person who picks up the pieces after they're broken. Like Daenerys is the one who breaks all the pieces, and the true savior is the one who brings everything back together, which is Jon. It's always been Jon, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like it's got to be. Like, they don't have this crazy story for Daenerys. I feel like
Dany dies, all of her dragons die, everything is shattered, and Jon picks up the pieces.
Yeah.
And that's like, well, that's how his story is.
And
he
I feel seems
like,
way more cursed.
Yeah.
Way more cursed. Right?
Yeah.
Blessed in a sense, but cursed in another way. Like, it's just like, he doesn't want to be this guy. And that fits the bill for, you're too bad, buddy. You're
and
the guy.
I need to look into it. But they really did focus on the Bleeding Star in season 2 or season 1. But I need to check if Daenerys was reborn with her dragons with a Bleeding Star. I need to check that.
It's so. I'm pretty sure it is, man. Like, there's so many things with that comment.
Because what if it just missed her? Because what if she didn't fulfill that part of the prophecy? I don't know. It's interesting.
So you got me digging deep here. So I went on the wiki. So there's two things that you were talking about with this comment. So I had to kind of chime in here. So Daenerys waits at nightfall for Khal Drogo's funeral pyre. Oh my God.
Is this a quote?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. It was at Khal Drogo's funeral, which she then...
So that hints at her being the savior also. Okay.
Yeah. But then in A Clash of Kings, well, Arya Stark is... Well, I don't know why I said her full name. Is journeying north with Yoren and like the whole bandits and all that stuff going north. It says she lies and looks up at the comet, which she thinks is both splendid and scary. Gendry, the smith, called it the Red Sword, saying it looked a sword, the blade still red hot from the forge. She can see the sword, but to her it looks like her father's great sword, ice, covered in blood, and it had been after her father's head was cut off.
Like, that solves it. Okay, so go back quickly, read what Gendry thought it was.
So he says, this is like, I'm assuming it's a quote because of the way it's worded. It says, Gendry, the smith called it the Red Sword, saying it looked a sword. Like, literally says it, saying it looked a sword, the blade still red hot from the forge. Like, when you take it out, it's still red steel.
So the sword that Ned picked up was Dawn, which had blood on it, which was a red sword, which had a sun on it, which technically was red hot because I believe that the sword was actually made from a comet or a meteorite.
Yeah, very interesting.
And then what did Arya think it was?
She said she can see the sword too, but it looked to her like her father's great sword, which was a Valyrian steel blade named Ice, covered in blood as it had been after her father's head was cut off. So that was the image that came to mind for her.
See, to me it's just interesting how she thinks of it as a sword that's ice, of what Ned Stark is holding.
Yeah, and it's contrast again, ice and fire.
So you could take it literally, Ned is holding the Dawn sword, which I think that's interesting, even though she said it was ice. But he said she's holding a bloody sword of ice, did she say? What did she say? Yeah,
she pictured her dad's sword covered in blood from his head.
See, but what if, like, in Game of Thrones, nothing is translated exactly? What if the ice she's seeing isn't the sword? It's actually Jon. The ice is Jon, which is the likeness of the Starks, and he is holding Jon.
Yeah.
Who is the comet, who is the savior. So she is actually looking up and seeing Jon flying over her, which is the savior.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like she saw the prophecy, but didn't quite understand how to interpret
it. She looked up and saw her brother. Because that's what else I find interesting about it is that what this red comet tells me is that Jon was born to be the savior, whereas Daenerys kind of was reborn, which I think being born to be the savior is a little bit more Azor Ahai than being transformed into it.
Okay, so crazy. I just looked up Dawn, the sword. Arthur Dayne was the last known person to wield it. Obviously, we know why. Dawn is largely the reason for House Dane's fame. Its origins lost to legend, but it seems likely that the Danes have carried it for thousands of years. So I think this is important, definitely. It's said to be made from metal forged from the heart of a falling star, a comet, or meteorite, or meteor. The blade is pale and milk glass, looking like no Valyrian blade, yet sharing all the properties. Buddy has it. Buddy has it.
Howland Reed.
He has that sword.
Howland
it's
Reed
Jon's
has
sword.
the sword.
And
You're
has
totally
the
right.
confirmation of Jon being Targaryen.
The sword is proof of Jon being Targaryen.
Boom.
He was born under a bleeding star, which is the sword, which is also made from a bleeding star.
Bingo. Flaming
Good job,
sword,
buddy.
it's like the smoking gun. That sword is the sword.
And then who gets Longclaw then?
It's just one of his fucking badass dual wielding.
He dual wields like Arthur.
He's gonna be cutting people's heads off.
Do you have any other badass quotes?
Okay, here.
I
Dane
can't
did
believe
not
we just-
pass the sword from lord to lord. Only a knight of House Dane who is worthy can wield it, but that's bullshit. The name of the Danes' castle, Starfall, and their arms. No, there's not much here. Okay, here's the last thing. The last known user of the sword was Sir Arthur Dane, who died at the Tower of Joy after a fight with Eddard Stark. Eddard Stark rode to Starfall. Ooh. Didn't know this. We should have maybe held our tongues. It said Eddard Stark rode to Starfall to deliver Dawn to Arthur's sister, Ashara Dane.
Ashara Dane.
I still think the show's going to go with our theory.
Okay. See, Ned would.
But maybe they didn't
give
really
the
focus
sword-
on the sword now that I'm thinking about it, though.
I think I remember hearing that somewhere though, because it makes sense. Like Ned, he wrote to Stannis to tell him that he's the true king. Like he's gonna give the family sword back to the family.
Yeah, plus he needed to sort of hold up the mythos of him defeating it one-on-one combat of the most badass warrior that's ever been. Right? Mm-hmm. And just to sort of pay honor by giving that sword back.
I would love if Howland had it though. That'd be awesome. But I think that holds true. I love the idea that Jon is actually the comet, and I love that. Like Arya looks up in the sky, and actually it's always interpreted like that. She interprets him holding ice, which is interpreted as Ned's sword, but it's actually Jon himself. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. It's still
right.
ice and flames and ice and flames and ice and flames and ice and flames. There's so much. That's why it's the song Ice and Fire, man.
No, but that's the thing. It's ice and flames, but the ice is never associated with Dany, but flames is always associated with Jon. So I think that's where the difference is. You never have Daenerys associated with ice.
Except for that vision.
Except for the vision. And I think that vision represents her death.
Yeah. Or
and she's going to be extinguished.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. But also, I want to talk about what Lyanna said to Ned. For some reason, people aren't grasping what Lyanna was saying to Ned. And to me, I heard it clearly. People are like, what did he say when her voice was blurred out or whatever? It was clear as day. She said, listen to me. Ned, his name, ... And then she said, if Robb finds out, he will kill him. You know he will. That's exactly what she said.
Yeah.
So it's hinting that he has a Targaryen name.
Yeah.
And then Ned named him after his good friend Jon Arryn.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Snow because he's a bastard to protect his identity.
Mm-hmm.
And then the face fades into Jon's, and I think the reason they faded it is because that needs to be a story point in the upcoming seasons. And it's not a story point from Bran. Because Bran, what's the story point? Bran can't just go and be like, hey, Jon, your name is actually, Viserys whatever. Right?
Yeah,
Because
I don't think Bran heard.
I think Bran heard.
You think they heard the whole thing?
Yeah, I think they hid it from the audience. But the reason why is because that name is going to be coming to Jon, and that's how Jon might get an inkling of his identity. Because Bran saying that you're Lyanna's you're my Aunt Lyanna's son, right? He wouldn't tell Jon, like, it doesn't matter if he tells Jon the name. That's why I feel like them blurring that out opens another story arc of being like, your name is actually this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like it's significance huge.
Like I feel like them blurring out the name.
But like I'm only picturing like a couple of people knowing about this. That's why I think Varys is the only one that knows that about this outside of Ned and not Jon Arryn because he's dead. What was the guy with him?
Hallan Reed.
Yeah, Alan Reed. So he's the only one that we haven't seen yet. So he's the only one that can confirm the validity of the whole story. Even if Bran somehow, I don't think he can show people, right? He can't show people visions.
Yeah, I
so
don't
it
even
would
know.
really
Like,
only be Bran saying, "Hey, listen, dude, you're a Targaryen."
Like
no
it's
one's gonna
something
believe him.
Yeah, like it's something Ned would never tell anyone. Like he took it to his grave, right? So you need to pick somebody who is actually there to witness it. And Hallan Reed witnessed Ned walking in and walking out with a baby, which his sister was in. So
Yeah.
Hallan Reed, I'm sure, is smart enough to put the pieces together. And
No,
then,
yeah, he knows.
So he knows, and he's out there. So I think he's a puzzle piece. Whether he knows, or he told Varys, or something along those lines, or Varys' birds found out about Hallan Reed.
Maybe there's something in like a grave, like Lyanna's grave. There's something.
Well, it's like Varys' key is secrets. And that's something that I'm sure he'd want to do his research on. What happened in this Tower of Joy, where there was Ned Stark and Hallan Reed and all these people, and they fought. And they actually defeated Arthur Dayne. That's his name, Arthur Dayne.
Arthur Dayne, yeah.
And this whole event happened. I'm sure Varys would research that, and I'm sure he found out about it using secrets.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was just like, I'm trying to make it clear. I feel like the only reason they would blur out the Targaryen name is it doesn't help Bran's story. It would help somebody else's. Because Bran revealing the name doesn't add anything to the scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go over to Winterfell. So just as we said before, Lord Royce makes it very clear that he doesn't want to support the Wildlings, which I think it seems subtle, but that's a big hint for next season. And I think that's a big hint to where his loyalties lie in the upcoming season.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think that's a good hole for Littlefinger to pry in.
Yeah. And Lady Mormont pretty much calls everyone pussies, saying that you refuse the coal. And I thought it was this whole scene was amazing. The music, the chanting, it was unbelievable. Lord Manderly speaks up. He's a badass, man. Like, I hope these characters get really fledged out. I'm sure they will. Lord Glover, Manderly, I think these guys are going to get really fledged out next season.
Mm-hmm.
But Lord Manderly speaks up, says she speaks harshly and truly. He calls Jon the White Wolf, which I thought was awesome,
yeah.
and the Avenger of the Red Wedding. So I didn't do much looking into this, but Robb was called the Young Wolf, obviously. So Young Wolf makes sense. Is there any significance between Jon being called the White Wolf besides Ghost? Besides
his Snow,
yeah.
Targaryen is going to be fitting, obviously, because white is like their features, right?
Yeah, it's like Ghost is... It's like Jon is such a Stark that Ghost is like the symbolism of his Targaryenism. He's a runt. He's white. He's the run of the litter. He's disfigured. He has red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And the Targaryens are very disfigured. So it's like Jon is 100% Stark, but his dog symbolizes the Targaryen within him.
Yeah. Long Claw is his sword with the White Wolf. Like, it was just a matter of time before they started calling him that.
I was trying to dig deeper into that, though.
No, I know. I'll dig.
But I think that's interesting, though, is that Ghost is actually the representation of who Jon really is. And Jon, it's funny because Jon is so much of a Stark, but Ghost just represents who he actually is. I think that's interesting. But Littlefinger looks pissed. Lord Glover apologizes. And then the scene ends with Sansa staring at Littlefinger, and he does not look happy.
Nope. Or he almost looks smug, like I told you so.
Yeah, he looks like that too, definitely. Yeah. And Sansa seemed very satisfied that Littlefinger lost. And I think their relationship, like, they're done.
Yeah, I think they're done. She might be able to pull a couple more things, but that is a breaking bond right there.
Yeah, and I think Littlefinger is literally just going to be talking to Cersei, like, soon. But then Jaime arrives at King's Landing, not at Tommen, but the actual city, King's Landing, and
sees the shit on fire.
It seems sudden, and he sees everything on fire. And then she's pronounced Queen of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely insane. Jaime looked pissed.
Yeah, I don't know what the fucking rules would be if something this diabolic happened. I'm sure it's happened in history.
Everyone's talking about the rules. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, she's the last one in charge that's alive.
No, but it's not even that. Like, she conquered the throne. She won. She killed everyone in power.
Yeah, but if that happened, the Kingsguard would arrest her on sight. Right? Yeah, so the rules would have to go. She was the queen regent.
Yeah, but
so it has to go to her. There's no more council. There's no more anything.
That's what I'm saying. Who did the Kingsguard arrest? Because they have no one to take orders from. She killed everybody.
That's tricky.
She killed everybody. She's the only person of high birth that could have taken that mantle, and she took it upon herself to do it.
100%.
And nobody supports her for it. And even Jaime doesn't, and he looks pissed. And in the books, they say the Valonqar prophecy, the younger brother will kill you, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they left it out on purpose in season 5?
Left what out?
The Valonqar part of the prophecy. In season 5, the witch said pretty much, gold will be their crowns, gold their shrouds, but she left out the Valonqar.
No, I don't know. I think it's going to be like a Romeo and Juliet style death for them.
See, I think what I'm saying is I think the Valonqar prophecy from the books, the fact that they left it out in the show, to me confirms that Jaime, or Tyrion, leaning towards Jaime obviously, is going to kill Cersei. Because I felt like that's too on the nose, and they left it out to kind of leave it kind of out there, random and poetic.
It's the ultimate Greek tragedy, though. Like, the guy that, or the woman that motivated him the whole time with the love of his life, his sister, nonetheless, but still. And then he ends up hating her so much that he kills her. It's pretty crazy. I don't know how they're going to pull that off.
Well, I wouldn't even say he hates her, he kills her. I would say he hates her because he has to. And I think that's what's going to be the issue, is he's still going to love her, but he's obviously going to have issues with her. He has to put her down
like a rabid dog.
Exactly. He's going to have issues with her politically, and he's going to be angry at her, but he's still going to love her. But I feel like he'll be at the point where he has to kill her. Like Tyrion and Daenerys and all these men are approaching King's Landing, and she's planning to torch it.
Yeah.
And I feel like he kills her to save everyone else, as he did before.
With himself, though?
I think he will end up, yeah.
Yeah.
And we see King's Landing already torched. So maybe he fails. Maybe he tries to choke her out, and then it ends up blowing up anyway because, you know, those candles, they burn fast. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
Then we go to the last scene. The music is unfreaking believable. But the ships are leaving. We see, you know, a lot of time has passed. And, you know, people say that the timelines are messed up, but to me, it's just...
Give them a break.
I know. And it's like, it seems jarring.
Not to me. I don't even think about it.
Oh, really?
No, it's just like, of course. He's everywhere at once. He's a wizard.
Oh, really? See, to me, it was jarring. But it's only because it's in the same episode. But they have shown, they went out of their way to show that time has passed, which is fine.
What do you want? You want a 5-minute thing of showing?
No.
Like, it's
of course not.
Bullshit. Everyone has to relax on that.
No, I know. I'm just speaking to what other people say.
I know, but we have to, like, as us doing this, we always have to say, we always have to mention about the time. Like, fuck it. Like, this is what they chose to do because they obviously, everything they produce is amazing. Give them a break, guys.
Yes. So we see Martell, Targaryen, Greyjoy ships, and do we see Tyrell ships? I'm not sure. I think we do.
It was so much.
Yeah. But we see everyone standing on the ship. Daenerys, Varys, Tyrion, Greyjoy, Missandei. All them, Tyrion and Daenerys share a look, and the dragons fly off. And then that is it. And, you know, I think they're going to Dorne. And I think they're doing the same cycle that I said earlier. They're going literally around King's Landing. They're capturing every single region up to the north and then going back to take King's Landing.
It seems so easy for them.
They're loaded, dude.
That's what I mean. Loaded. She handled the shit by herself outside of Marine. What's King's Landing gonna do if she shows up with the biggest fleet that's ever sailed this world?
The biggest army there is now is the Lannisters, but I don't even think they...
You think they're bigger than these guys?
No. But they have a lot of men. But still, like they're
Are the Dothrakis on the ship, or are they left in Marine?
They're on the ship.
Well, like everybody's fucked.
I know.
You know what I mean? They're like they're almost as worse as the White Walkers is how they're portrayed. Like they're crazy.
It'll be nuts. But I think maybe the Dothraki, I feel like, might be held south a bit, and Daenerys would take her Unsullied north. But she doesn't have that many Unsullied, because I'm not sure the Dothraki would do so well.
No, she just inherited so many Unsullied. She just inherited every single Unsullied owned by the Slavers.
Oh yeah, true. I didn't even think about that.
She has the hugest thing. That's what I don't know if something happens to that army, maybe.
See, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm thinking her army travels that route that I was talking about, but she flies alone with her dragons.
But she's with Tyrion, and Tyrion's a fucking badass, and he knows this is his home now. They're going to his home turf. He is a strategic genius. He's gonna say, drop us off here. You go here, have these guys do a pincher, come in from this angle. Like he's gonna be the guy whispering it into her ear for all this, even though she might be hopping them up dragons and burning shit down.
Yeah, and then I was thinking, when they take Casterly Rock, I was gonna say that she would leave Tyrion in charge, but no, he's the hand of the king or hand of the queen. Sorry, yeah. He goes everywhere she goes.
Yeah, everywhere.
But yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to say. You got anything to add?
No, there's so much. I feel like I need to watch it over again.
No, definitely. We got a lot of Game of Thrones content coming, dude.
Do we ever?
To watch the whole series again. We got top 10s. We got all this stuff coming, and we got to do better, man.
Yeah, we ever?
We got to set our busy timetables aside and try and get some Game of Thrones content out there for you guys.
Whew. Wow.
All right, but that'll do it for this episode. Sorry I came to you a little late, but yeah. All right. See you later.
Take care, guys.